Student Live Student Voices is being brought to you as a service of Kinstopel Ford, Central Texas Electric Co-op, Totality Over Texas, Vogel Tractors, Joseph Financial Partners, Medical Arts Pharmacy, and Celebrity Care Medical Clinic.
Welcome to Student Live Student Voices, a production of HC Broadcasting and KNAF AM 910. This series encourages conversations about the topics that matter to young people and the issues that affect them. Our goal is to engage students in these conversations as well as in the solutions created. Time now for Student Lives Student Voices. Welcome to Student Live Student Voices. This is one of your moderators, Trish Dwyer-Morgan. We have a change of pace in our programming for this week and next. In our description of Student Live Student Voices, we say we choose topics that matter to young people. This episode starts with a focus on the future, a topic that matters a great deal to young people who are facing big decisions about work, careers, and possibly further education and training. Between 77 and 81% of high school students in the United States and Texas participate in something called CTE, or Career and Technical Education, a 2019 U.S. Department of Education report indicated. The number surpasses 91% in Fredericksburg ISD. On this episode, we talk with students, teachers, and employers involved in Fredericksburg ISD's CTE program just to get an overview of the project. We'll be taking a deeper dive into the experiences of CTE students in upcoming segments of Student Lives Student Voices. Joining us in this conversation first is John Hext, who oversees the CTE program for Fredericksburg ISD.
My name is John Hext, and I am a teacher, but I'm also the CTE coordinator. So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education at the high school.
Thank you. And so, can you give me an overview of what the program is and how it works?
So, at the high school, you have your core classes. You have your English and your math and your social studies and your sciences. And then CTE is kind of that other major part of a kid's education where it focuses on career or technical education. We have 91% of our kids are enrolled in a CTE class. So a huge percentage of our student population takes some sort of CTE class at the high school. And so it's a huge wide variety. I have a list here, I'll read them off. So we have ag, so the main, the stuff that you've always thought about ag, with ag and welding and stuff like that. And then we have construction, we have audio video technology, which is what I teach. We have business and marketing. We have education and training. So that'd be like the teachers, learn to be teachers, hospitality and tourism, which is actually a really big growing one here, right throughout Fredericksburg. Law and public service, health sciences, and then engineering. So we have a wide variety of different curriculums.
So
that the kids
91%. How many kids altogether would that be?
So there's about 1,000, a little over. So we have about 900 are enrolled in a CTE class.
That's exciting.
It is.
John, this is Steve Maxwell. He's a co-moderator on Student Life. That's amazing. About 900 kids involved in. How many programs is that?
So that's two. That's 9 different what we call clusters, and then there's even pathways within that. So for ag, for example, you can have your traditional, raising animals, but then there's also like floral. So floral design is actually part of that. And then you'll have, of course, like welding. There's plant and soil science. So there's a bunch of different pathways. And then, for example, for engineering, there could be regular engineering, and then we have one where it focuses on rockets. So they partner with it started here in Fredericksburg, and it's called Systems Go, and it's a really neat program. If you ever get a chance to go watch those rockets fly, it is amazing. And our kids design them, build them, launch them. They go out to White Sands and in the summer and launch them at White Sands, a big rocket that goes up into the atmosphere above way above there where planes fly.
Find it over in Cloud Cross somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And so Career and Technical Education, or CTE, replaced vocational education in 2006 as part of the Career and Technical Education Act, also known as the Carl D. Perkins Law. The Texas Education Agency uses the term CTE at the state level. Participating in CTE programs emphasizes real-world and classroom learning for students, and it focuses on preparing them for careers in current or emerging professions, as well as college or further study. Students focus on both advanced and middle skills. Middle skills are careers that require a high school diploma, post-secondary certificate, or associate's degree. In 2019, the U.S. Department of Education said there were 30 million jobs in the U.S. that did not require a college degree, but that had paid $55,000 or more annually. So what grade are they in when they begin taking these classes?
They can be, well, actually we have CTE in middle school. Mm-hmm. We have a few classes down at the middle school, but really it starts about 9th grade. They start in high school. Most of them will take an intro class in their 9th grade year, and then they move on from there, and then they usually complete that pathway that I was talking about somewhere around 11th grade or maybe as a senior. It goes all the way through. So we start with your introductory, your principles classes, and then you kind of move into the learning phase. And then a lot of our classes culminate with something called a practicum, which is where the kids actually will go out in the public and work in a job that's geared towards their pathway. Wow. So like our automotive kids will, when they're getting into their practicum, will go and work at one of the local, dealership service departments or something like that, and actually get that, the true hands-on training. And a lot of these kids most of them it's a paid position. Wow. So they're not necessarily having to give up their time to learn. They're actually getting paid while they're doing it.
And it only seems fair.
Yes.
It only seems right. And is this the same program where the EMT and the nursing happens as well?
Yes, the hospitality. I'm sorry, the health sciences is also part of CTE. Yes, so we partner with the hospital, and they so a few times a week I see the kids walking around in their scrubs, and they go over there and they learn. And we have everything. I mean, we have some kids who are trained to be CNAs, which are the people who help lift patients and get patients situated in beds, and then we have people who are trained to be one day neurosurgeons. So it's everything. We just.
This is Steve Maxwell here at Texas Rebel Radio, and I want to talk to you just a second about Ken Stopel Ford in Kerrville. They're not just a great company to buy your next vehicle from or to get your vehicle serviced. The Stopels are deeply involved in the communities they serve. They give you their time and resources to Habitat for Humanity, Junior Livestock Scholarships, Kerr County Young Life, Harper and Medina Volunteer Fire Departments, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the United Way, and many more. They touch every community in this listening area in some way. There are some good companies in our Texas Hill Country, but the one company that stands out as an advocate for all of us is Ken Stopel Ford. When you consider purchasing your next vehicle or servicing the ones you have, please give Ken Stopel Ford a chance to show you what they are all about: honesty, integrity, and a willingness to get involved in their Hill Country community. They have been Hill Country proud since 1966, and they would love nothing more than to prove it to you. Find them at stopelford.com.
CTEC is a proud sponsor of Student Life, Student Voices. From lighting up your homes to powering local businesses, we've been your reliable source of energy for over 75 years. But CTEC is not just about electricity. From sponsoring local school programs to supporting community events, Central Texas Electric Co-op is all about giving back. In fact, concern for community is one of our guiding principles. With every flip of the switch, we're working together to build a brighter future. Visit our website or drop by our office today. Central Texas Electric Co-op, powering homes, empowering communities.
Welcome back to Student Live, Student Voices, a production of HC Broadcasting and KNAF-AM 910. Student Lives decided to follow up with two of our local employers who participate in the program to round out this initial conversation. When Student Lives knew it was going to be interviewing young people from the healthcare career path, we reached out to Methodist Hill Country. We got a response back from Clint Codal, CEO of Methodist Hill Country, who explains why this program is important to members of the business community as well. He stated, "While the healthcare landscape continues to evolve, it is crucial to recognize the untapped potential within our high school students. Involving them in healthcare and providing early exposure to the field is not just an investment in their future, it's an investment in the future of healthcare itself here in the Hill Country. Young minds bring fresh perspectives, boundless curiosity, and a willingness to challenge the status quo. By fostering their interest and engagement in healthcare early on, we not only empower the next generation, but also ensure that our industry continues to innovate, adapt, and thrive in the years to come. Together, let's inspire and cultivate the healthcare leaders of tomorrow." Afterwards, in order to give our listeners a sense of how broad the potential pathways are for students in the CTE programs, we reached out to Sheriff Buddy Mills. The Sheriff's Department just started a program with the FISD CTE program this year. Let's hear from him what's involved. So we are here with Sheriff Buddy Mills, and we're actually going to be talking about something for Student Live, Student Voices. And we've been talking to the career services at Fredericksburg ISD, and they have all these really cool certifications that are going on, and you actually work with one of these programs, isn't that correct?
Yes, we do. We are actually involved with the criminal justice class out at the high school, and this year we actually joined up with them, and we have a few students that are actually in a class that is they come to the jail and they're exposed to the law enforcement, the criminal justice side of our world in the jail program, and it's a classroom. I believe there's 5 seniors that are actually participating in that at this time, and we started that at the beginning of the school year. Lewis Rather is the criminal justice instructor out there at the high school, and so we partnered with him, and I've known Lewis for 30 years or more.
That's exciting. That's exciting. So what are some of the things that you're able to walk them through part of this? What are the things that they learn when they get to be a part of this at the jail?
Well, most of the time what they're doing is they're mostly observing the interactions of as officers bring people into the facility, at the booking process, the rounds that are made. In the jail is a very, very busy area of the sheriff's office, probably the most hectic part of it. And so they get exposed to that, and it gives them an idea of if maybe they want to go into a law enforcement career, because they get to interact with the officers as they come in, and they get to interact with all of the jailers there. And so they get a great firsthand knowledge and a firsthand view of exactly what happens in a correctional facility or in a county jail.
Do you look forward to the day when maybe you get to hire one of them to be one of the people that works for you?
Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. And we actually have hired some people right out of the high school, 18 years of age or older, eligible to work in that side of it, in the jail division. And so we have actually hired a few people here locally, which if you invest here locally, it gives you the opportunity to have someone that is already grounded here, that probably has a home or has some property and has the ability to stay here. And like I say, it's a great opportunity for them. Where else can you go and get kind of on the job training to where you can actually say, you know, I wouldn't mind doing that.
Yeah. Desiree Bermudez is the instructor for the health sciences part of the CTE program. We'll get to hear more from her next week. Right now, she's providing an inside view of what students in the health sciences career pathway may experience.
I would love for them to know that as far as the healthcare field, we really have them really well set up. And there's people aren't aware of all the different classes that these students have gone through. So these that are graduating, this year as seniors, a lot of them will have been through a principles, which is kind of the foundation level of classes, kind of gives them an introduction into the body systems, an introduction into healthcare, and then they go into med terminology, they go through pharmacology, they go through anatomy, physiology, forensics, which adds a whole new kind of, it kind of crosses into that law enforcement, but forensics is all in medicine as well. And then they get to go through health science clinicals, where they get to actually go and do the job shadowing to see which direction then they want. And then we kind of round them off with an opportunity to get certified. Right now our options are pharmacy tech or EMT. And so those that are on the pathway of going to college can have a really nice job right out of high school to be able to help them get through those college years. And it's medical based, and you will always learn when you're in medicine, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. And then those that maybe aren't college bound, those certificates are like their starting point for their careers. So they really do have some really amazing opportunities. And these students that are coming out have worked really hard and have all of this knowledge behind them. So they're going to do some really cool things with their future.
One of the first questions we asked our student guest was, did they ever feel that adults sometimes underestimated just how much and how thoroughly high school students actually think about their futures? First up is Emma Reiber.
So being a doctor is pretty much a lifespan thing.
Yes.
So do you also think that sometimes people underestimate how much high school students think about their future lives? Or is it, it varies?
I think so. I think we're underestimated. I mean, I'm a planner. I'm kind of next level, so I don't think everyone's quite where I am, because when I was 10, I knew where I was going to go to college. I knew where I was going to end up. I knew what kind of doctor, everything. And people thought I was crazy. And yes, I've questioned it a few times, but I've kind of fallen back on the same stuff. So I don't think everyone has a super detailed plan, but they know generally what they want to do, and at least they know what they don't want to do. So we have a plan, and you have to plan ahead. At freshman year, you have to figure out what classes will be best for you to figure out where you want to end up in the world. So
We ask Valencia Ramirez the exact same question, and we'll be back with that answer right after these messages. Calling all Eclipse visionaries. Totality Over Texas, based here in Fredericksburg, has all your Eclipse essentials covered. ISO certified Eclipse glasses, commemorative t-shirts, and more, all custom designed with Texas in mind. It's time to get ready for the ultimate celestial spectacle. Visit www.totalityovertx.com and make sure all eyes are on you during the eclipse. That's totalityovertexas.com.
Vogel Tractors is the Texas Hill Country source for pre-owned tractors. They offer new and used implements and attachments for landscaping, tillage, and harvest, as well as small construction machines and attachments. Their inventory includes new equipment from Rhino, Armstrong Ag, Industrious America, Mohawk, Agmeyer, and more. Every tractor at Vogel's is thoroughly inspected, serviced, and field tested to ensure that they're field ready. Your trade-in is welcomed at Vogel Tractors, and financing options as well as nationwide delivery is available. The Vogels are successful sixth-generation Texas German farmers and ranchers who know what it takes to work the land. So when you need a tractor or a piece of associated equipment, visit your Hill Country neighbors at Vogel Tractors, 12 miles east of Fredericksburg on U.S. Highway 290, or find them online at vogeltractors.com. That's VOGEL tractors.com.
Welcome back to Student Live Student Voices, a production of HC Broadcasting and KNAF-AM 910. We're back with Valencia Ramirez. Valencia, along with the other students we're interviewing today, is with the Health Sciences career path. She is also president of HOSA, H-O-S-A, which is the club for students in the Future Health Occupation pathway. Does she think that adults sometimes underestimate the amount of time and attention young people give to what their future lives look like?
I'm going to ask you that same question of, do you think people sometimes underestimate the ability of high school people to think about their futures in such a thoughtful way to know that at least for the next 20 or 30 years before you decide to retire and, go to Aruba, that that you already know what you're going to be doing. Do you think sometimes people underestimate that, or?
Yes, I believe people do underestimate teenagers a lot because they always think that we're just like focusing on hanging out with friends, wanting to go shopping and other stuff. But like me, I stress a lot about school and having good grades just so I like know I can get into a good college and be able to get into med school. So like I always stress about it. So I think adults do underestimate kids and how much they really think about their future.
A variety of kids coming through.
Well, and as someone who's sort of been in and out of journalism and writing throughout my life, it was the journalism classes where you sort of apprentice becoming, trying out all the different things.
Yes.
And then even my earlier jobs were more like apprenticing or interning than they were.
Right.
That's a huge part of journalism that we don't really talk about. And a large part of it is still kind of being an apprentice in different mediums. And I love that the school is sort of taking on that role and then combining it with the practical skills and certifications. A lot of these young people end up with certifications and can walk into jobs when they leave the school. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's actually a big push of ours. These are called, everything has an acronym, and they're called IBCs, but it's an industry-based certification. And we really want all of our kids that come out of our CTE programs to have some sort of certification. In fact, the state grades us on how many of our kids get industry-based certifications. And so it's a big push this year. It's been a big push every year, but especially this year to get these kids certified. And so there's all kinds of different certifications. For example, the kids that come out of my class for AV, they come and they take a certification for Adobe. So they know how to use Photoshop and video editing and stuff like that. And then there's, of course, other certifications like automotive, where they come out with a certification on brakes or exhaust systems or something like this, and they can take that certification, right down to the local dealership and say, I have this piece of paper that says that I know how to work on brakes. And so it's really awesome.
That's so cool. According to reports referenced by the U.S. Department of Education and the Texas Education Agency, participating in CTE programs does appear to help reduce dropout rates among students, especially for those who participated in multiple courses. In 2006, to give some context, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation conducted a study of young people who had dropped out of school. Of those, 81% said that real-world learning and the opportunity to see the connection between school and getting jobs may have encouraged them to remain in high school. According to the Texas Education Agency, students who take 2 or more of these CTE courses, these career and technical education courses, have lower dropout rates, higher graduation rates, better attendance rates, and higher scores on standardized tests than students who took 1 or no CTE classes. In 2010 to 2011, 28,000 certificates and licensures were earned by high school students across the country. So we talked about the ways that it benefits young people, setting them up for the future in terms of careers, but just in your seeing the transition of their development as people through time, what are some of the things that you've seen? Like, is it confidence? Is it a sense of self? Is it being able to meet all different kinds of kids? I'm sure these cross sections of kids from all different, some who are ranchers, some who have different backgrounds, getting together and working on a project like a house or something. What are some of the benefits or growth that you've seen in kids through being involved in these programs?
Well, the graduation rate at Fredericksburg High School is very high, 96%,
Wow.
Something like that. And I feel like there are kids who may not, if they didn't get to go to construction science every day, or they didn't get to go down and weld, or take time during the day to go and feed their animal, that they may not stick around. I feel like athletics, I'm also a coach, but I feel like athletics really provides that for some kids. Some kids would not graduate if it wasn't for football or basketball, and I feel like we provide the same thing, that we provide those things that the kids enjoy doing. I feel like when those kids walk into our CTE building, they just seem happy, like this is their class, this is the one that they've been looking forward to all day. And I've seen a lot of kids grow from little freshmen who I just thought, what are you gonna do, to a kid who went off and is now making his dreams a reality, going in and whatever pathway that is.
We'll be taking a closer look into the actual experiences of young people in these programs next week and in upcoming segments on Future Student Live Student Voices. Coming up before the winter holidays, we'll have more from the health science career students and students from the culinary arts program. Here's a quick premiere from Journie Lombardi, Health Sciences track.
That's exciting.
Is there something about the classes or the experiences that you have had that have really stood out to you? Something that lets you know that this was the profession or the career that you really wanted to be a part of?
Well, through health science clinicals, we get to go to the hospital and see the different views or places in the hospital and how they all work. And I know for me, there's some places I go to where I'm like, well, I like this, but I wouldn't want to do it every day, which is also good to know because you may like it one day, but you don't want to do it every day. And for someone like me who's indecisive, it's really helpful to learn and see the different views of how everything's going on in the hospital.
We're back now with one last thought from John Hext.
I do want to talk about a little bit. I know it's a little bit off the cusp, but I want to thank our Fredericksburg community for passing the bond. Our CTE building, which we call it the 300 building because everything's numbered, but the 300 building encompasses most all of our CTE programs, and it's getting a much needed renovation. It's the oldest building on our campus. And it's getting a big renovation starting very soon. We're getting a new building that's going to house culinary and welding, and this is all thanks to the bond being passed. And so that was wonderful. It is, and it's going to be great. We're going to have a wonderful culinary space. So our culinary program has grown. It started not too long ago. We've always had home ec and stuff like this, but culinary is the true learning how to be a chef, and it has really grown, and we have a large number of kids taking this, and hopefully soon, in a couple years, when it all said and done, they're going to have a wonderful space to be able to cook and hopefully give back to the community. We're hoping to build a space where our kids can cook and the community can come in and eat the food, and it's going to be wonderful.
Joseph Financial Partners is a proud sponsor of Student Life, Student Voices. They offer independent financial advice in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and insurance. They're here to educate and assist you with all of your financial needs, and they hold themselves to a fiduciary standard, meaning they place your needs above their own. Their mission, to partner with their clients on all of their significant financial decisions by providing independent advice, appropriate education, and extraordinary service, all delivered with the integrity that holds your financial needs above their own. Please visit Joseph Financial Partners at josephfinancialpartners.com and find out why so many have placed their trust in this extraordinary Hill Country financial team. josephfinancialpartners.com.
This is Steve Maxwell, Sales Director here at HC Broadcasting, and I'm careful about giving personal endorsements, but Ken Stopel Ford in Kerrville is a no-brainer. I recommend them without reservation. My wife bought the last truck we purchased from Ken Stopel, and she told me she will never buy from another car dealer. They won't be satisfied until you are happy with the service you receive. That's why Ford Motor Company gave them their President's Award. Ford dealers get this when they meet or exceed customer expectations in every department. They also give back to Hill Country schools and communities. I asked my friend Terry Massey, their general manager, if they would help with our radio show about bullying. He didn't ask me what Ken Stopel would get out of the sponsorship. He just said, sign us up. That's the Stopels I know. The next time you need a vehicle or service, go see the folks that really care about people in the Hill Country. Go see Ken Stopel Ford. Find them at stopelford.com.
We want to make sure that any of our listeners understand help is available from many sources. There is always hope, and nothing is inevitable. There are school counselors, reporting systems at schools, and even help through hotlines such as the 988 system. If you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health crisis, call 988 for assistance. or contact Texas Health and Human Services at 855-937-2372 to talk to a trained professional.
Thank you for listening to Student Lives, Student Voices, brought to you by our sponsors, Ken Stopel Ford, Central Texas Electric Co-op, Totality Over Texas, Vogel Tractors, Joseph Financial Partners, Medical Arts Pharmacy, and Celebrity Care Medical Clinic.